Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright then, hello everyone and welcome to episode 72 of the International Pentagon Challenge. Now obviously in the last episode we left things off having resigned as the main manager of the Egyptian national football team because we third time lucky managing at the African Cup of Nations finally won the damn thing, which I am really very happy about. And that did obviously mean that we no longer have anything to play for in Africa, so I resigned from being the Egyptian manager. I am going to miss some of the lads, but a lot of them aren't getting any younger, and I personally think the next manager has quite a big job on his hands. But it's not about their new manager, it's about me. Where are we going? So I said in the last episode, if my memory serves me correct, that I had a funny feeling South America was going to be where kind of we'd end up. But I guess I was wrong, because instead we've actually been offered the Mexican football job. And as we know, Mexico kind of fall under North America rather than South America. So if we look at their schedule really quickly, as you can see, they actually lost in the Gold Cup semi-final to Canada, which really is a phenomenal result for Canada, but they were struggling. For me, they shouldn't really be losing friendlies against Russia or El Salvador, and they shouldn't really be drawing group games against Jamaica or Honduras. So yeah, we've got a lot of fixing to do with the Mexican national team, I would say. So in terms of what the plan is for us, obviously in order to defeat North America, we need to win the Gold Cup. Obviously includes teams from North America and the Caribbean and places like that. And really, I feel like when you're Mexico, if we take a look at the history of the tournament itself, despite the fact that Canada met Honduras in the final recently, really it's all about Mexico, the United States and Jamaica historically, and Canada apparently won it in 2000. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, I don't know, but it's taken them 30 years to win another one, so yeah, that should really speak for itself. But the point is, I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. I'm going to assume the next 4 years, so let's just say our aim is going to be to win the CONCACAF Gold Cup 2034 or 2035, whenever it ends up being, in order to defeat North America. We do actually have the CONCACAF Cup coming up, and this is really annoying because their name is quite confusing, but it's this kind of like regular thing where the US always play Mexico and then they win a cup. No one else can qualify for it, I don't think. Or actually, this makes sense now. So we must win something, and then the winners of the Gold Cup play the winners of the thing that we won. So I'm not really quite sure on what basis we've qualified there. Sorry about this, but you know, I'm discovering this as you guys are. And it actually looks like the Gold Cup is every 2 years, which is even more awesome. And you know, apologies that I'm a bit all over the place, but honestly, I've just hit the record button and I'm learning just as you guys are learning, which is pretty much how this entire International Pentagon Challenge process has been like for us. But there we go. We are basically going to happily accept the Mexico job, and if there's one thing I know from years of playing Football Manager, it's that Mexico always produce phenomenal regens, and you can see that from our top players list. So our top players, we're talking about players who play for Arsenal, Inter Milan, Dortmund, you know what I mean? So just before we put an end to this video, these two Mexicans have joined Burnley for some strange reason, so I'm certainly removing them from the national pool, providing they're in it for whatever strange reason. Removed. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Context, I'm a Blackburn fan, in case you've just come across this video and haven't watched previous videos and you're wondering why do I hate Burnley. Okay, so let's take a look at some of our strongest players. This is the first time I see them as well. I'm just kind of taking a bit of a punt that they're going to be pretty good, and this guy's got a media description of being a world-class midfielder. And, well, he's going to be 31 in 2 years' time, but given that he's got 17 passing, 15 vision, it suggests him as a deep-line playmaker on defend, and that is certainly what he looks to be. Yes, he might not be as physically good in 2 years, but from a technical standpoint, we've got to look to utilise him in front of the back four to dictate play from deep. It's a no-brainer when you've got a player as good as this guy. You know, he pretty much poos on top of any of the Egyptian midfielders we had, so I'm really looking forward to using this lad who plays for Arsenal. Next up, we've got Eduardo Arellano, 28 years old, centre-back. Jumping reach could be better. Not exactly the tallest for a centre-back, but with 15 tackling and 17 marking and 16 strength, he will probably, certainly, do a good job for us. We're going to need to try and forget the fact that he played for Burnley in the past. Put those 6 fingers to one side, because you know, it'd be useful if he was a goalkeeper, but unfortunately in this case he isn't. Or you never know. I mean, he's not really going to suit more to be a second defensive midfielder ball winner, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. He obviously plays for Inter Milan for a reason, and yeah, we'll see how things go. Next up, we've got Rodrigo Rincon. One of the youngsters is probably, you know, only going to get better. Still certainly has room to improve. 21 years old, born in 2009. That makes me seem really, really, really old. Valued at 44.5 million quid. Plays as a playmaker slash box-to-box midfielder. We have got a lot of very, very good central midfielders so far, based off of what we've seen in this Mexican side. And we're obviously going to have to try and build a system around it that focuses on utilising the players through the middle, which is a bit strange because over the years, normally, most of the Mexican regens that I've kind of brought up in Football Manager are always wingers or strikers for some strange reason. Have Chicharito really written all over them. But in this case, we've got some decent central players. And talking about central players, here's another centre back. So this guy actually, to me, probably seems slightly better than the other one. Even though the other one is more of the star player. Plays for Arsenal. Probably good mates with Mohamed Kamel from Egypt, obviously the Egyptian Arsenal centre-back. And again, jumping reach could be better, but the Mexicans aren't exactly known for their height. And neither are any of our opponents, to be honest, in the CONCACAF. So we've not really got too much to worry about. Loads of lovely mentals on this guy, despite only being 22 years old. So we've seen a nice balance so far between kind of older players and really young, hungry, exciting players that should hopefully mean we have a lot to look forward to. And I'm kind of wondering how on earth the previous manager before me managed to lose to Canada. So next up, Omar Martinez, 27 years old, another central player, surprise, surprise. Seems pretty good, you know, very good technically, first touch passing technique. We seem to have a lot of playmakers. It's going to be very difficult to try and fit them all in the same side. But actually, obviously, everywhere we've been, we've kind of used a different type of system. And we could very well end up having to play a narrow system if we've got the wing-backs to be able to do so with the Mexicans. Something like a 4-1-2-1-2, depending on the quality of our strikers. Maybe a narrow 4-2-3-1, somewhat reminiscent of the Italian guy that Man City fans like with the scarf. What's he called now? Roberto Summit. Oh, what's he called now? He won the Premier League with him. Not Roberto Martinez. Roberto something else. Oh, what's he called? Roberto Mancini. That's it. Yeah, so very Mancini-esque of that kind of narrow 4-2-3-1 with kind of more creative attacking midfield central players like, you know, your David Silvas and your Nasris and stuff playing just off the lone striker. So we'll see where that takes us. But we have a lot of creativity in this side, so we are going to have to make sure we build something that utilises that, which is a decent passing game. And last but not least of our top few players, we're not going to go through everyone. We've got a 34-year-old who plays for Sunderland. So that is a little bit underwhelming, but it is what it is. And to be honest, given that he's 34, I highly doubt he's really going to even play for me, to be honest. He's probably still in the squad just because of the fact that, well, he's in their most recent squad, but he's probably going to end up retiring by the time we reach the next CONCACAF Gold Cup, so I'm not even going to bother talking about this guy. But that is going to really be it for this episode. It's been a while since we've had one of these short ones because we've just been manager of Egypt for so goddamn long. I think it was the longest job that we really held down, 4 years, which is really amazing considering, we barely spent a year in places like Japan, UAE. I think second longest will really be 3 years at Angola. So that is really going to be it. I'm really looking forward to seeing if we can win over North America. And obviously we're going to be back more than likely for the CONCACAF Cup, which is going to be an interesting game with it being a final. It's actually going to be played in the United States, even though it's going to be Canada and Mexico playing. And then the build up to that, I think, is just... It's probably not even going to be World Cup qualifiers. It's going to be Gold Cup qualifiers, I'm pretty sure. And we should get through them with relative ease. And hopefully the next episode will just basically be CONCACAF Cup. And then episode after that be the Gold Cup once our group is drawn. Because while we might end up playing World Cup qualifiers like the top suggests, I don't think we have too much to worry about for them anyways. We may have already qualified. I'm not entirely sure. Now we're going to have another round of qualifiers, but look, we're going to get drawn against these teams. I don't think you guys really need to sit and watch through what should really be relatively easy games. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for everyone who's really stuck through the International Pentagon Challenge. Obviously, things like numbers do drop as things kind of drag on, and I was expecting them to, and to be honest, I don't really mind as long as, you guys who've been there from the start and have made it to this point are enjoying it. So yeah, thanks for watching.